amazing Paul Hetherington, and it's all coming up right here. He's going to show you some awesome stuff. It's AFOL Spotlight Live.
Let's go! Climb aboard this proverbial Winnebago. We're talking about the awesome fans of Lego. So build your mock and shift it into drive. It's time for AFOL Spotlight Live.
Paul, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me on here.
Absolutely. The Paul Hetherington. Everybody, I got to introduce you to this guy. He is one of my favorites. I have probably mentioned in the process of, I don't know how many episodes I've done here, I've mentioned two names more often than any other names, and it's Jake Sadovich and Paul Hetherington. And I figured it would be fun to begin and end the first season with those two people. And some of you might be listening and saying, what does he mean by first season? Well, I'm going to take a quick hiatus for the next handful of weeks from this particular piece of live content, and it'll be back soon. So I'm calling this the end of season 1. So it began with Jake Sadovich, and it is ending with Paul Hetherington. Paul, what has been going on with you, man?
Oh gosh, just staying home a lot and doing a little bit of Lego building. But yeah, lots of sorting. Lots of sorting's been going on, and a little bit of building, and lots of relaxing and staying up late, and not cutting my hair and all that sort of good stuff.
I just cut my own hair today, and
you look great.
Thanks. I was getting to the point where I just couldn't stand it anymore. It was just getting, it comes out from under my glasses and sticks out between the. Yeah. How you feeling about it? You're gonna rock a little bit of more of a.
Yeah, I might bring back the mullet. I don't know. I'm almost at the point. My neighbor downstairs is a hairdresser at like Supercuts, and I'm almost at the point where I want to go and knock on her door and be like, "Hey."
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's like, it's so hard to know like what's allowed, right? What's going on in your area? Is like everybody trapped inside, or?
Oh, well, we're in Vancouver, North Vancouver, BC, Canada.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's we have a few cases. I think BC has maybe 2,000 cases or so, but so we have a couple hundred people that have the symptoms around here, but. For the most part, people are social distancing, but at the same time going around their, daily business. Maybe half the businesses are closed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of what it's like here. I feel like we have a hard time knowing where we should be. Should we be at the grocery store? Should we not? Where else can we go? Should we, I don't know. It's weird. And I've probably spent far more time in Zoom meetings and on live streams in the last few months than I have in my entire life, leading up to this weird time. But I just want to say hi to some of the folks in the live chat. We've got Jaden, Aqua, Julia, Chantel, Steven, Hobby Hahn, Jeff McElwee, there he is, Rich, Jacob, Doc41. There's too many to name. See you later. I have seen some of our lovely moderators in here tonight. We have Ben Kahn, we have Moto, we have Dave Morgan. Those are the moderators I've seen so far, and I could not do it without them. So everyone give a little hand clapping emoji for our moderators. And Ben has asked me to bump up Paul's audio a little bit, so I just gave him a little bump there. Ben, let me know how it goes. Paul, what do you think? Do you want to look at your photos?
Yeah, why don't we do that? It sounds like we're in really good company. So yeah, let's jump into the photos and take a look at some of the stuff that I built.
Anything in particular you'd like to look at first?
No, not. They're pretty random.
Okay.
The order that I sent them should be fine. If not,
Cool.
We'll roll with it.
So we've got this. Paul was one of the very first things I ever saw from you. Now that says more about when I joined. The AFOL community than it says about you, because I'm sure you had been building some incredible things long before this. But I remember
Yeah,
it. What do
well,
you
that's
have?
cool. That was a fun Bricks Cascade. That's actually where I debuted this model. This is called Gotham Theater Showdown, and it's basically a giant Batman comic book, kind of in the 1940s and early 50s style. So yeah, I have really good memories from that convention. Did you came as a public for that one, right, Boone?
Yeah, I was there. I was there as public for that. And sorry, I'm just still getting us dialed in a little bit here on the different scenes, but I did, and this was probably the thing that blew me away. And I am a big Batman fan, so of course I noticed this. But just the movements that you have in there, and of course I saw it, exactly the way you describe it. It's like the cover of a comic book. But then you've got some just incredible detail in there that I absolutely love. Let me see if I can get a little closer to this one here. Yeah, this is good.
Yeah, so I mean the helicopter actually goes up and down. It's on kind of a cam lever. The propellers spin. When I originally built it, the Joker's streetcar, it's called the Streetcar Named Destruction, and it would go back and forth on a little track, and the Joker cannon would go up and down. And when I'm at shows, I always have fun asking the kids what they think is going to shoot out of the Joker's cannon, and they always have all sorts of interesting, creative answers. The pie seems to be the number one answer, but but yeah,
I love it. I would love a pie cannon.
Oh, exactly. Just not a pie in the face,
Right.
But yeah, for me, the real pleasure with building this one was the Art Deco theater and some of the details I came up with using little Ninjago weapons and all sorts of gold bricks. I used a ton of gold jumper bricks because, as you know, Lego doesn't really make that many gold plates, so you sort of have to improvise and use the parts that are available.
That's awesome. I love it. All right, let's see what's next. This is cool. Oh, sorry. I don't think I've seen this one. I'm gonna take us off the screen there for a second.
Well, this one's kind of an older one. It's called Casa Baron, and I mean the name kind of comes from my original, I guess, what was it? eBay handle. I'm Brick Baron, so this is Casa Baron. This is where the Brick Baron would live, and I used. This was like 2008 that I made this. I debuted it at BrickCon, and I used a ton of Bionicle parts that were kind of new at the time. And it turns out if you take two of the Bionicle weapons, like similar weapons, and put them together, they actually form these really cool Gothic arches. So that inspired me to make a kind of an Antoni Gaudi style, Art Nouveau architecture. It's kind of a creepy place. I don't know if like the milkman's delivering, but it's probably his least favorite place to deliver milk to. You never know if someone's gonna like jump out of the door at him. And yeah.
So yeah, it's awesome. You honestly is what I was gonna say. Honestly, in 2008, I don't know how I would have come across this much sand green. I feel like until maybe, I don't know, I'd say until 12 or 14, I thought sand green was still like kind of a rare color, and now it seems like it's much more everywhere, but I love it.
Yeah, I have a story about that. I mean, I've been collecting Lego as an adult for about 28 years. So I actually call sand green Yoda green because back, I guess 2001, 2002, Lego came out with this big deluxe kind of a USC Yoda sculpture.
Yeah.
And I guess back then, Lego wasn't quite as big a deal as it is now, and that set didn't sell well. So they ended up blowing it out, both in Canada and America, and probably the world for that matter. So I bought 28 of them for like $40 each, and it was more than $100 set at the time.
Wow.
So that is why I have a ton of sand green or Yoda green Lego. And funnily enough, when I met Jonathan Lopes, who does Brick Universe with me, he had an exact same story, except that he was living in New York, and he ended up like taking sort of 20 Yodas on the subway with him from the store. So that's how back then. That's how we all got our sand green.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Real quick in the chat, Matthew Saboto gives a $1.99 super chat. Thank you so much for supporting the stream, Matthew. And Matthew says, Boone, thanks for introducing us to these builders. So, Paul, it sounds like Matthew appreciates what he's seeing from you here. Thank you so much for that. We'll get back to the pictures in just a moment, but I'm curious. You said that one was from the from 2008.
2008, yeah, BrickCon.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about where had you been by 2008? What brought you to that point in your Lego journey?
Yeah, well, I guess by that point I'd been into it for, gosh, almost 15 years, 16 years. So I realized that, like, starting collecting in I guess 1992, the first 10 years of my collecting was fairly, there was no real social interaction. There was no scene, there was no conventions, there was no internet even at that point. So I really felt like I was just some crazy dude collecting Lego.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until 2002 when I joined the Vancouver Lego Club and kind of had some friends to hang out and talk Lego with. And then we started doing train shows and shows at museums. So all of a sudden I had a reason to build. And then that led into, actually, I went to the first BrickCon, but kind of like you, I went as public. I think the first two I went as public, and then finally by 2004, by the third one, I jumped in, and I've pretty much gone to all of them since, as an attendee. So yeah, this model, basically where we jump in my Lego story is I had kind of done a bunch of Lego stuff, even tried it as a business with Robin Sather, who's now a certified professional and has been for, almost since that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I ended up sort of, wanting to keep the hobby fun. So I just didn't take the business route after a couple of years of trying that. And this model was kind of my comeback. After that, I had a couple of years where I kind of laid low, and then this model basically signifies the beginning of how people know me as now.
Awesome. Well, Aqua Mike says you guys should do a build together, maybe a city attack with Batman. And I agree, because I told you at Bricks Cascade that someday I want to try to collaborate with you on something, and I won't put the pressure on because I know it's hard to work that stuff out sometimes, but I think it would be a lot of fun. And I look up to you and your style so much. Let's check out the next one.
Yeah, well, I agree. That would be totally fun. I can't see us having a bad time if we collaborated. But yeah, okay, this is called The Edge of Glory. And for all the viewers out there that maybe have seen Coco or the Book of Life movies, this was inspired by that. This was basically me wanting to take all these really awesome new colors that came out with the Friends line. It took me a couple of years to get enough of them, but once I had a good assortment of these really vibrant colors, I was like, what can I make? That would show them off. And I thought the Day of the Dead and sort of the Mexican, kind of culture would be the perfect way to show them off. And that's basically what this ended up being. It is kind of scary looking, I guess, but it's the afterlife is a fun place. No one's getting hurt here. It's just people playing guitars, and there's some dancing going on, and people hanging out in the afterlife. How they drink and don't have the liquid go through their ribs and end up on the floor is a mystery to me.
How is there Superman in here?
Yeah, well, obviously, Boone. Don't you know that Batman killed Superman?
Oh.
Like we all believe that, right? Yeah, and I think there's Lincoln is in there, and I've got a skeleton dressed in a Satan suit from one of the collectible minifigure series. So, just having fun.
Yeah. Julia Yu in the chat says, Paul, do you have a YouTube channel?
I do. And I think it's original Brick Baron. You can just Google or go to YouTube and type in Lego Joker's Funhouse and my name, and you'll find my channel. Um,
I'm just gonna try it real quick. Um,
yeah, you can tell
Lego
I posted.
Joker's Funhouse. And that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
there you go.
here, I'll just pop this over to this screen real quick, and people can see it. Yeah. All I did was went to YouTube, searched Lego Joker's Funhouse, and found Paul, and he's Lego Brick Baron right there.
Oh,
And I won't play someone else's YouTube videos on this stream, or YouTube will flag it as, um,
yeah.
not my content. But that's awesome. Cool. So that's where you can check Paul out on YouTube. Paul, this model is one of the examples, and I'm sure we'll see more. You use color in a way that I think is pretty unmatched, across the globe among Lego builders. At least in sort of like the style of, you have a lot of architecture. You've got a lot of stuff that is inspired. I think, well, you can speak to what inspires you, but when I look at a lot of your builds, I see like, sort of like the Art Deco stuff, the mid-century stuff. Comic books, retro sci-fi stuff is sort of like what is conjured when I look at your stuff. Um, and
Yeah.
and at least among that sort of stuff, I just absolutely, now I've officially said the word stuff too many times, but in that vein, you use color over and over again in just beautiful, amazing ways that I think again is unmatched. Um, what brought you to like using color in the ways you do?
Oh man. I don't know. It's the honest answer is it's instinctive. Um, like I wanted to be a musician when I grew up, so I finished grade 12 and then just sort of ran. Like I never took any art training, or I had no idea I was going to be an artist. My 8-year-old self is freaking out right now that I ended up doing this, and my probably my 17-year-old self is kind of horrified.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just putting the time in, and looking at doing a bit of, I don't know, looking at other people's creations, seeing how stuff goes together, and I think either you have it or you don't. You can learn it to a certain degree, but it's like my Lego superpower, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, let's see. Next up in the pictures. Oh, so cool. We've got, this is the Joker's Funhouse, right?
Yes, this is the famous Joker's Funhouse.
All right, what can you tell us about it?
Okay, I built this in 2015, and once again, lots of vibrant color. I really like building for the Joker just because he's such a colorful villain, and he's got obviously a sense of humor. Otherwise, his name wouldn't be the Joker.
Yeah.
And, I could have built like the Batcave or some of the Batman creations, but which are cool. But once again, being me, I wanted to throw all that color in there, and this one was like over the top automation. I spent a lot of time trying to create a little automated scene for each of the villains. So really, the entire mock is a series of vignettes, and it's also kind of a three-part story. There's a beginning, middle, and end with the entrance gate, the middle section, and then the final duel on the rocket ride.
It's so cool. You had this at, I feel like I saw this at Bricks Cascade maybe the year after the other Batman model. Is that correct?
Yeah. I think I definitely brought it to Bricks Cascade. Probably 2016, maybe 2017. But yeah, right now this one is down with many of my other models at Brick Universe, which is a Lego fan convention that happens kind of in the southern states.
Yeah. Okay, just so you know, here I'm here. I'll switch us back to. I'm gonna tweet. That I'm talking to Paul Hetherington. Can I have your permission to use a couple of the pictures?
Absolutely.
And you see me tweeting but everyone out in the world still sees us now, and now the picture of the Joker's Funhouse.
Oh, cool. Yep.
So I'm gonna do that. So why don't I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit more here, and oh man, I just love how you created the faces in here. Would you tell us just a little bit about like what are two or three of your favorite details?
Oh gosh. Obviously, Poison Ivy. I took a kind of a Little Shop of Horrors approach to the giant plants, and they're actually automated. They open up and down, and Robin is standing in front of them with kind of on one of like a rotating floor. So he's kind of wobbling back and forth, trying to keep his balance while Poison Ivy is trying to eat him with her giant flowers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then probably the most popular, like the feature that the kids really notice at the shows is the acid vat. Commissioner Gordon is being dangled over an actual moving acid vat by Harley Quinn, and the acid vat was made by putting in loose, clear 1x1 round plates. And I kind of cheated. I used a non-Lego element. I used cellophane, and I taped that into this like little acid bath bowl, and put a motor underneath that would rocket back and forth. So when you look at it, it looks like the acid is actually swirling and moving around underneath Commissioner Gordon, and of course he's going, "Help me!"
Oh, that's awesome. Commissioner Gordon tried to get Batman to tell him his secret identity, but he didn't cave.
No, he didn't bat cave.
Oh, so good, man. This is awesome. Cool. All right, tell me about this.
Party animals. Okay, yeah, this was just a fun creation I did. Basically, I started with the horse head, which kind of looks a little bit like BoJack Horseman. Kind of a Will Arnett reference. You might know Will Arnett. I assume you might have crossed paths with him at some point.
I might have crossed paths with him at some point. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so this and the next picture are kind of tied together.
Okay.
My girlfriend Melissa was going to come to her first BrickCon, and I thought it would be a fun way to introduce her. Was to make 50 of the little sheep heads, and to give them out randomly to some of our friends and some strangers, and then to do a group photo. So Melissa actually created all the sheep heads. I did the design, and she parted them all together and created them, and actually she got to meet everyone that she gave them to. And then we got this really cool picture at the end of the con. So the whole idea was just to kind of introduce Melissa to everybody.
Yeah. Oh, this is good. Good stuff. I love looking around this picture, and there's a lot of faces I don't recognize, but there certainly are a lot of faces I do. And so it's fun to look around these types of pictures and think about these experiences that so many of us have had together. Awesome.
Yeah. Well, it is so much. What I realized thinking about like the early days, I was thinking between 1992 and 2002, like I could tell you what sets I bought and what deals I found, but it's really about the community. The last 15 years have just been this great whirlwind of meeting so many amazing people, like yourself. And Lego is really not just about the building. It's the community. It's a huge, huge part of it. And I think that's what keeps us all, together and having fun and inspired to, meet up and do these Zoom meetings and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I was really pleased when I got to meet you because for a few years, I had seen that Batman mock. I had seen another one that caught my eye early on for me, was the Mouse Guard. And it was really the moment where I think you had Mouse Guard and the Gotham. Tell me, what is it? Gotham Theater? What's the name of that mock?
Yeah, Gotham Theater. Yeah.
Okay, when Mouse Guard and Gotham Theater were on display at the same Bricks Cascade, does that seem accurate?
Yeah, sounds plausible.
And I saw the name Paul Hetherington, and then I saw it again, and I was like, wait a second, these are both like incredible mocks, and they're so different. Those two, those pieces were very different, and so it just that sort of fused in my head, like, I've got to pay attention to Paul Hetherington, because I had such great appreciation for those builds. And then it was just like 2 or 3 years later that we met at Bricks Cascade. I think maybe was there a year you didn't go to Bricks Cascade in between there?
Yeah. I unfortunately had to miss 2019 because I was at a Brick Universe show. But
Okay.
yeah, I think we met in 2018.
2018.
When we first, you were one of the faces that I kept seeing on Facebook, and you had such an interesting profile picture.
Yeah.
Because you had like stars in the background, you had the cool beard.
Yeah, that was I used that profile picture for a long time.
Yeah. So you had that, and then we went to Bricks Cascade 2018, and all of a sudden there's an amazing space creation, kind of, Flash Gordon style, and then there's a dude in this Lego Flash Gordon suit, and it's you. And from that point, that was just such a great conversation starter, and we've been friends ever since.
Yeah, and we had the great pleasure of being able to participate in the Bricklink AFOL design program together.
Yeah.
That was cool. We spent a little bit of time in Chicago, and we got to. I remember Jake Sadovich and I spent a little bit of time at Bricks Cascade. Oh, it was last year. It was 19. You weren't able to be there, and a number of Bricklink was there, and they wanted to put all the models on display, and they hadn't finished assembling them yet. And so Jake Sadovich and I took a Uber over to the hotel where Russell and Jake from Bricklink and some of the other folks were staying, and we got to start putting together the ADP models. And this was long before they went to production, right? And I think yours was one of the ones Jake and I worked on there while we were sitting. It was like in a conference room at their hotel. Anyway, I love that. And here's another secret. I went to, I don't know if I should say this on the internet. How many people are watching? Less than 100 people are watching. I think I can say it. I went to the Bricklink headquarters last summer. And Russell, you got to spend some time with Russell, right? Or you've met Russell online?
Yeah, Russell's a great guy, yeah.
Yeah, I love him. Russell was so jazzed that we were visiting the Bricklink office that he offered me he offered me an ADP set. He said, I can give you one of the VIP ADP sets. He's like, because I love it when people visit here. He's like, most people in the world think that Bricklink is just like this, website on someone's computer and a bunch of individual stores around the world. He's like, but there really is this legitimate operation going on here, and we're really passionate about it, and we really, believe in what we're trying to do. And he said, so I really try to reward people for coming down here and coming and visiting the office. So he actually gave me two, and he gave me Isle of Peril number 4, and he gave me Imagine It number 7.
Yeah, that is so cool.
So I don't.
You got a super low number, yeah.
Yeah. So I have a lower Isle of Peril and a lower Imagine It than I even have of the fire engine, because I think the lowest fire engine I have is like 13 or something like that.
Really? Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, or maybe 10. Jason Seacrest in the chat gave a $2 super chat. Thank you so much for supporting the stream, Jason. And Jason says you guys are awesome. So there you go. More positive feedback for you there. Hey, let's check out the next picture. This one's rad. This is what do we got here? Is this Poseidon?
Poseidon. I just want to say that I think you did tell me that story, and I did actually watch the video, so that was cool.
Oh, great.
I was like super jealous that you got to go to Bricklink headquarters, and so yeah.
Well, anytime you're down there, reach out to Russell, and he will love to host you there. I guarantee it. He loves you and what you do, and he loves having visits there at the office. So
Yeah, no, I will definitely do that. That's cool. Okay, so yeah, this is an older one, but I feel like it still kind of stands up. Poseidon was made for the Vancouver Lego Club, my home club, and we were doing a mythology show at a local museum, and so they're like, "Can you build something mythology?" And I like couldn't decide if I wanted to do a Poseidon sculpture or if I wanted to build Atlantis, because there was benefits to building Atlantis because no one could tell me that I did it wrong because nobody knows what it actually looks like. So I did both. You can't see it that much in this picture, but that what you're looking at there is Atlantis. So the reason the human race has never found it, in my imagination, is because it keeps moving around inside Poseidon's throne. And he's upset these little fishermen in a boat right beside him, and they might not live till, tell the tale. But the cool thing that the kids love when they see this in person is the mermaids move back and forth inside Atlantis there. But there is a secret surprise, and that is a clam is in the kind of the top of it, and SpongeBob is actually the leader of Atlantis, or the ruler.
Oh, that's lovely. You hinted at something else here, Paul, in that I another thing I really appreciate about your builds, and the tiki, what was the tiki one that you just showed at?
Oh yeah, Tiki Madness.
Tiki Madness. The way you use movement in your builds is so creative and clever and poignant and tasteful. And I'll expand on it a little bit, because I feel like I look at movement as like a challenge or a technical like task to be tackled. And so if I can get my roller coaster to go, up into the sky and do a thing and work, I'm stoked. And then I lose all energy of making it more beautiful, right? Whereas you like have this seamless sort of marriage between like the technical aspect and like the aesthetic aspect of it. You know what I mean? And I almost
I don't know. I mean, in your defense, recently you've been working under like what 8-hour deadlines, and I can't even imagine.
Sure.
But yeah, I think thank you for that. That's kind of my signature is the automation and trying to make some minifigures move and tell a story. It's really about the story. But I was blown away by the ambitious, mechanisms that you and Mark worked on the show. That was insane.
Well, thank you.
I was blown away. I'm truly impressed with what you guys pulled off.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. But yeah, anyway, all right, I'll stop gushing. I love what you do. It's awesome stuff. Okay, here you've got a big collection of your displays.
Yeah. This was taken maybe 2.5 years ago in pretty much the same spot that I'm sitting in. I just threw this in here to give a sense of scale of some of the pieces. When you look at a picture online, sometimes it's hard to tell how big they are. So these were all the models. Most of these are down at Brick Universe. So if you do end up going to a Brick Universe show, once things kind of calm down and the world goes back to normal, you can see all these models in person at Brick Universe, which travels around to different cities.
How did you get connected with Brick Universe?
Oh, I actually did a commission for a book just through No Starch Press. They contacted me and asked if I'd make models, for people that were publishing Lego books who maybe needed some help. And so I ended up making a model for a guy named Grayson Bates, who was actually 14 at the time, it turns out.
Wow.
And so, yeah, he put my model in his book. And I guess 2 years later or so, like I say, he was 14 at the time. And I believe it was when he was 17 that he started Brick Universe. And he's been running it ever since. They do about 10 to 12 shows a year. And it was through the book. He actually came in person to a BrickCon, and I think I was standing next to the Edge of Glory, and this guy walks up, and starts talking to me and introduces himself as Grayson, and I'm like, oh man, it's such a pleasure to actually meet you. And he's like, hey, do you have all these models still built? And I'm like, yeah, I got them. You know, they're all in storage. And he's like, okay, we got to talk. So that's basically how.
That's awesome. Nice. Good job. Good job, Paul. It's all awesome. Okay. This one is a little more recent, right?
Yeah. You are basically looking at my summer last year. I spent probably almost 6 months building this. This was actually a commission. So there is a restaurant, a really awesome restaurant actually in Wisconsin Dells. Uh, and yeah, they're called Buffalo Phil's, and they have train delivered food. So if the restaurant isn't cool enough already, that a garden scale railroad train comes to your table to drop off your food, now they have this big Lego piece in the center of the train track. So you get to be entertained by a big Lego model and have your food delivered by train now.
That's amazing. So what was I'm just looking at this. Does this represent the area where the restaurant is, or is this just a fantastical sort of imagination of that type of area? What?
Yeah, it's so if you scroll up a little bit, there's a log cabin at the top, which is Buffalo Phil's restaurant. Their restaurant looks like an old cabin, almost like, oh gosh, the Disney that Disney hotel that
the
like
Grand Californian.
Yeah. It's almost on that level. It's a very beautiful building. So I made up this story where Buffalo Phil's had started a restaurant on top of a mountain, and then the restaurant became so popular that the city was developed around it because everyone, was like wanted to be near a successful business.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this model actually has two working trains that go around the model, and there's all sorts of cameos in there. I had a blast with my friend Chris Strebley coming up with ideas for funny things for minifigures to be doing. There's Thanos is on top of the coffee shop, and he's dunking the gingerbread man into the coffee pot sign. It's kind of a good sight gag. Chris actually came up with that one. There's stormtroopers cruising in a car, holding balloons, and you just kind of picture like the rap music playing, all sorts of craziness. So I wanted the model to be as much fun for kids and adults to look at as possible.
Oh, it's wonderful. I remember seeing you post, and you would post sort of like works in progress, like you would sort of finish a piece and then post, and it was but it's Buffalo Phil's, is that right?
Yeah.
And I remember sort of following the progress of that through the summer. Oh, that's awesome. Nice. Okay, tell me about this. This must be Brick Universe.
Yeah. This is Brick Universe. Obviously after hours. I just threw this in to show that kind of the presentation that Brick Universe takes. Because different cons have different styles. BrickCon, they have like a town section and a space section, and everyone puts their town and space models in the appropriate section. Brick World has a different approach where every builder gets their own table or tables. So no matter what you built, you put it on that table. And then Brick Universe has this approach where each model gets its own table, or sometimes two models on a table, or to just kind of free up the presentation, almost like an art gallery.
Right.
We've got a black backdrop, so you can really focus on the model and see it without kind of having too much clutter and stuff going on, and you can kind of control the presentation, which is what as an artist, that's what I really appreciate. So like I said, I've got about 20 models on display that we set up, and we go to all sorts of cities like Nashville and New Orleans, and we've been to Cleveland and Raleigh. Raleigh's actually where it started, North Carolina. So yeah, we go to all different cities, and I've just loved it, getting to see different cities, and more importantly, meeting Lego fans from the different areas has been just fantastic.
And how often is that running? And how long do they last when they're in a city? Do you go?
Yeah, I mean yeah, I go to all of them, and they're weekend events. You know, Friday we'll set up. They're not like a typical kind of adult fan convention. A few of them we have some games and stuff for some of the cities or markets where there are more AFOLs, like Nashville, for instance, or Oklahoma City. Shout out to my Oklahoma City buddies. There's a really great crew down there. But mostly, it's for the public coming in. We have, well, before all these crazy times we're in right now, we had build areas. We had so kids could see the models, get inspired, and then go and play in these Lego play areas and build really cool stuff. And kids had access to all this Lego that they don't normally have at home. And yeah.
Cool. Cool. Let's see. Oh, this is a good look at another one of these. Is this one of those same events?
Yeah. This is basically my view from Brick Universe. I sit there and get to talk to everybody and say hi. And yeah, this basically shows people looking at, those are all my creations there. And I feel super honored. I get to sit there, and I kind of joke with people that because I have a whole gallery of my models in one spot, that I tell them that they're walking around in my imagination.
Yeah.
Which is basically true. Yeah.
Cool. Let's see. I'm trying to. Oh, this is rad. So, what's the name of this one?
Okay. This is Unchain My Heart, and I built this, I think, in 2016, and debuted it at BrickCon. And yeah, it's steampunk, and it's basically the robot represents. There's a little character in the center, and it's his robot, and he built it to protect his heart because he's kind of shy. He's an introvert, but he wants to put himself out there. And so if the story is, if he can cut the chains to free his heart, he's got his mechanical heart in his hand there, then he will meet. There's a little girl coming across or a woman, I guess, coming across the sands of time, and he is sitting there with a wedding ring and a wine bottle. And if he can successfully put himself out there, cut the chains to his heart to free it, he will meet her and probably get married.
You tell some really interesting stories through your builds. And that's, when Mark and I were building for Lego Masters, that was one of the things that just over and over again, the Brick Masters were saying, story. What story are you trying to tell? And I feel like a lot of builders often build, something that they think looks cool. They build something that they like, or they build some piece of architecture that is impressive from an architectural standpoint. But to have these stories, and I feel like almost all of your builds have that story built in. What do you feel like? Yeah, and you mentioned your imagination, letting people walk through your imagination. Just tell me a little bit about what has the journey been, or what does Lego represent to you as far as telling those stories, or creating what it is inside your imagination. It's a vague question, but do you have a little direction there to talk about that?
I think so. I mean, so when I first started building, when I joined the Vancouver Lego Club, I was mainly recreating objects. So I kind of cut my teeth, so to speak. Even some of the models behind me, like the hot rod fire truck and the Funny Money Hot Wheels car. I kind of practiced building regular world objects, but I don't know. There was just a certain jumping off point for me, probably 10 to 12 years ago, where I was like, I want, what's the next step? Where can I take these cool objects that I'm building and kind of say a little bit more with them? And that's basically how my style has evolved. And now it's these crazy storytelling kind of scenarios. And yeah, I mean, I could have just built a robot, and that was the original intention, was to show off all the cool gold and chrome and bionicle parts. But I took it that step further to come up with the story of the heart. usually it starts from the title. Quite often I'll get like the song title first, and then kind of think like, hey, if Unchain My Heart was a Lego model, what would that look like? So yeah, that's probably about as good as I can explain it.
No, that's great. I'm just floored when you say like there she is walking across the sands of time, and I'm like, well, yeah, of course, like that's what's going on here, and it makes so much sense. It's just I honestly I think it's a level of storytelling that not a lot of builders, sort of spend much time with. It's good.
Right?
Cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, let's see. Oh man, this thing is so cool. Did you have this at was this at BrickCon? Like
no, it was a brick can.
okay.
So I built this last year. I built this, I guess, last March, kind of specifically for the Lego house. I'd been honored that they'd asked me to display in their masterpiece gallery. Much like Ryan Van Duzer that you had on last week.
Yeah.
I won't talk too much about it because you guys really covered the whole sort of experience really well last week. But yeah, so the idea with this model is there's a robot at the top. It's called "We Built This City,"
yeah.
which is not my favorite song, but the title is just so perfect. So it's kind of meant to look like a cartoon. So all the buildings, kind of like graffiti. It was inspired by graffiti, and all the buildings have these black lines on them, kind of like it's a line drawing.
Right.
And there's those little gray conveyor belts taking bricks up to the robot.
Yeah.
And you're about to come across the Lego factory, which is that dark azure building there,
Yeah.
shaped like a Lego brick. So that's where the building bricks are being made.
And I love the itty bitty little Lego truck at the bottom. It's like.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cute, right? But yeah, once again, trying to use as many crazy colors as possible. And I thought, what could be more appropriate than a Lego building themed creation to go into Lego House to kind of speak to what you do with their product and how much fun you can have with it.
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about. Everyone who's watching, thanks again, Dave Morgan, Moto, Ben Kahn. You guys have been great moderators in the chat. Thank you, Soccer Reed, Matthew Saboto, Joseph, Potato Studios, Avonlea, Mitch Simpson. Let's see who else. Holly is with us right now. Aqua Mike, Chantel. Paul just uses colors in a way that I just think I don't typically see, and so you do a really awesome job with it, Paul. And this one, it's just amazing. And so he's on step 8131.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the little gag. I thought, what could I put in the control panel for the robot? And sure, why not put the step number that he's on?
That's funny. Oh, so cool. And I love that there's just like a construction worker in his head with a couple of levers.
Those levers, they literally control everything in the Lego universe.
Yeah. Oh, it's good. Good stuff, man. Oh,
Yeah.
All right, let's see. I didn't mean to cut you off. Did you have something else to say there?
No, I was just going to say that model is currently at Lego House. I guess for what it's worth.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah, it's crazy. It was my first trip to Denmark, and Melissa got to come with me, and we just had the best week of our lives. For me, it was a dream come true because of the Lego angle. You're going to like ground zero of where Lego was created.
Yeah.
And also just the amount of the people that I met that weekend. We went to the Scareback, fan weekend, which happened a couple days after the install. So yeah, best time ever.
Oh, it's awesome. Okay, I've got a couple of things to read from the chat. Elhanan said, "Man, this is breathtaking." Talking about this build here. Holly said, "Paul and I had fun in Billund last year," with a smiley face.
We did.
Let's see. Oh, Rob Kirchside says, "Thank you for sharing, Paul." Heidi North said, "I would love my city to look that colorful." Let's see. And then Paul, send me an email and tell me how to pronounce your last name. I'm going to say Sinasone. Paul Sinasone gave a 99-cent super chat. Thank you so much for supporting with a really big, wide, smiley face. So thank you so much, Paul. We really appreciate your support of the live chat. Okay. Oh, and a fellow Paul. So
Absolutely. Thank you,
go.
Paul. Go, Paul. Paul.
Did we see this one?
No, I just, this kind of highlights all the Bricklink AFOL designer sets that you referenced earlier, and your set's in there, and Jake's set. I did actually get to meet Jonas Kram, who did the Wild West at the Scareback fan weekend. And of course, Pete, who I believe is near Seattle, who did the White Roadster. So between you, Jake, and those guys, I've met a few of the designers, which has been a really cool pleasure.
Yeah, that was such a cool experience, and I only wish it could have lasted longer. I can't tell you how many people have reached out to me, in the last year wanting to get their hands on a fire engine, and the only thing I can tell them is you have to pay twice retail for it and go, buy it from someone online. But anyway, it was such a cool experience, and I really appreciated particularly when you and Jake and I got to speak at the little thing in Chicago, and Russell did some speaking there, and Marvin is Marvin still the CEO of Bricklink? I think he is.
Yeah, I'm not certain.
And Marvin spoke a little bit, and then Tormund from Lego was there, and I just thought that and just the fact that, I don't know, I felt very privileged to be able to share that experience with you and Jake, and it was really cool. Nice.
Yeah, likewise. That was pretty epic.
So you it looks to me like you rearrange these shelves often, because I think this is the second time we've seen these shelves, and they're the shelves behind you, right?
They are, yes, yeah. These are ever changing. I even have pictures that I've taken. There's actually a picture I really should post online. I took it last year, and it was, how, especially in the times we're in right now, everyone's posting like their favorite albums that they grew up with on Facebook.
Yeah.
Because now I'm a Lego artist. I took a picture and spent years collecting all my childhood toys. So I did a picture of just all my childhood toys, because I figured like those were a huge influence on my design style, and so look for that picture in the next month or two, probably on my Instagram.
Awesome. So talking about the albums is a great segue to what we have next here.
Oh yeah. Okay. This is a shout out to my friend Robin Thompson, who is a Vancouverite, and he's an amazing artist. And I think the next picture we'll get to, or maybe I'll show it in person, is the Jukebox, which I recently made. I made a Grease themed jukebox, and my friend Robin did this amazing picture. So he goes by the handle of Fun Men Press on Facebook, and he is, I just can't recommend his art enough. He does commissions, and you can kind of see his style. He does all sorts of styles, but he is a Lego collector, so he's familiar with the parts, and he's one of my favorite, if not my favorite, artist for Lego themed drawings.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. It actually reminds me a lot of what was the brick what's the comic book with the space guy that was a minifigure?
Oh yeah. Isn't it like Greg Hyland, maybe?
Or Jimmy Starborn or something like that, or
Jimmy Spaceborn.
Spaceborn.
Now you're going back. Yeah.
Doesn't that, particularly the guy there with the R on his hat and just the way his arm sort of bends around, it reminds me of Jimmy Spaceborn. But
yeah,
anyway.
It's got a similar style there.
Okay, so I don't have a picture of this model, so you're going to show us in person?
Yeah, yeah. If we can do that, I got it right behind me here.
And tell us what it's for. And I was floored by it. This was for a Lego Ideas challenge, or what do they call them?
Yeah,
Contest.
the music to our ears contest. So yeah, this was my entry. It didn't get chosen as one of the top 10, which is cool. It was which way do I gotta go?
Maybe if you hold it up on the other side of you, then we'll be able to. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and
Yeah,
I don't even think you have to lean that far, but it's right in the center right now.
yeah, cool. So yeah, it's a jukebox and it's kind of grease themed, and then it's got the automation. It's got Danny and Sandy kind of dancing back and forth there.
Yeah. Paul, I loved this before I knew it had any movement. And then I saw the video you posted where they're all moving around, and I was like, oh, this is brilliant.
Yeah, thanks. It's the Grease Lightning car, and the car is basically in the shape of like a diner. And then you got the jukebox here. The jukebox actually comes off and is a standalone model. I really had fun coming up with that.
Yeah.
So,
That's
and it's got a volume knob on the back that you can turn up to 11.
Oh, this one goes to 11, doesn't it?
It sure does.
Oh, that's really cool. Hey, would you humor me and show me that fire engine hot rod you got back there? Can you bring that up, or does it need to stay on the shelf?
No, I can pick it up.
In doing the research that I did for the antique fire engine for the ADP, I just, I got so immersed in fire engine stuff, and so now I see fire engines everywhere, and I notice them, and oh, it's so cool. So what inspired this?
Oh, I can actually show you what inspired it. It was a Tom Daniel model kit called the Firecracker, and
I'll pull it up.
I got a little diecast. I got a diecast version of it here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's so rad.
So I don't know if you can see them there, but yeah, I left out the ladder on top, but it's basically the same model.
So cool.
Wow. Yeah, it's like trying to do everything backwards here.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah, I threw a little Dalmatian on there just to add some character.
That's rad.
Yeah, thanks.
So cool. Here, let's see. I'll show. This will be a fun picture to show. Can I pull this up? Oh, there's not gonna be an easy way for me to do this. Yeah. Here we go. I'll just pop this one over. So that right there is the original. The original monogram Mattel model kit for the Firecracker. Yeah, you nailed it. That's rad. Paul, do you follow a guy on Instagram called Randy Rieger?
I do. Or yeah. I took your advice and I followed him, and yeah,
okay.
His posts are amazing.
I knew you would like his stuff, but also I'm on the quest to figure out how I discovered him. So I keep asking people, like, did you point me to him, or did I point him to you? Because I knew you would like his stuff, but I can't remember how I discovered him. But anyway, all right. I think we're done with the photographs. Does that seem right to you?
Yeah, sounds right.
Is there anything else on your shelves behind you you'd like to tell us about? I see. So you have your ADP kit up there. You've got some Billund exclusives. You have some of your older models.
Got the Lego House Shrine. A little Disney model off to the. Well, yeah, I'm backwards. I've got a couple little things beside me that I can show you.
Sure. Yeah.
I
wait. I think this is now officially AFOL Show and Tell. There it is. Oh. It's time for Paul's Show and Tell. Hit it, Paul.
Okay. Well, I should show this. Brick Can is happening this weekend, so it's not happening in person like we're used to, but for the people that had registered, and for kind of I guess they're looking at it as kind of a reunion for all the people that have sort of had a brick can experience. They're doing an online weekend, with the Zoom chat rooms, and I'm actually doing a virtual house tour on Saturday.
Awesome.
So yeah, just want to give a shout out to Brick Can, and as you can see, they used my Party Animals mock there for their promotional postcard. And yeah, I know. I wanted to show you this because, like we talked about when I first met you, you were in the sort of Boone Rogers spacesuit.
Yeah.
And I made this little rocket ship. It's kind of like a steampunk rocket ship.
Oh yeah, that's rad.
Yeah.
There he is.
There's Boone right there.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So every time I look at this model, I think of you and
Aw.
what your model was.
That's awesome. I love it.
Oh, what else can I show?
What can you tell me about Brickley back there? Is that your design, or is that from Legoland, or what's up with
Brickley.
that?
Oh, you mean Ollie?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, that's a Lego set.
Oh, okay.
Gosh, probably 2001. It was one of the first ones that Lego started doing these kind of larger sets, more aimed at adults.
Yeah.
They're a little more expensive, higher piece count. But yeah, that's Ollie. He is the Legoland theme park mascot. So if you ever go to Legoland, you'll see all these little green dragons around, and
right.
Boy versions and girl versions, and that's Ollie. And
yeah, I just had his name wrong. I thought his name was Brickley, but Ollie.
I think Brickley is probably like his Lego store cousin, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I believe Brickley is the dragon that you see in the Lego stores, and Ollie is the one for the theme parks.
Oh, okay, awesome, cool, nice.
Yeah.
Well, Paul, what else do you feel like? I feel like you've described some of sort of like the significant moments in your experience with the fan community of Lego. Anything else you would want to make sure we hit on before we head to Q&A? And we haven't done cool stuff we found online. We were having so much fun. But you can answer that question. I'd love for you to share anything else you wouldn't want people to miss out on.
I think I've covered most of it. I should say that I am available for commissions.
You should say that.
Yeah. If people, like my building style and have a thought of something that they'd like created, they can contact me. I have a Facebook page, which is Paul Hetherington Artist. You can also contact me on Instagram, which is also Paul Hetherington Artist. And I'm probably happy to work with you and come up with a really cool model.
Let's go. We're gonna head on over to Instagram.com/Paul Hetherington Artist.
Yep.
And we'll kind of give everyone a little glance here. So this is Paul on Instagram. That's a good place to see the stuff that. Oh my goodness! Look, the most recent picture on Instagram is of who and who.
There you are.
And then here's I'll play this real quick. Is this the video? Look at this.
Yeah.
This is so cool. No, I don't know if I want to hear the music. Let's do that. Paul, they're not going to be able to hear you for a moment because I've cut the music. I just don't want to run the risk of so cool. Awesome. Cool. So here we go, everyone. You can check out Paul's stuff at Instagram.com/Paul Hetherington Artist. There's the full name right there. And as you can see, if you just sort of go through here, you can totally get. Oh, there's the Tiki Madness. We didn't see that, did we?
Yeah.
And one of the things I loved about Tiki Madness at Bricks Cascade was, I hope people aren't seeing. Okay. The music too. It had these subtle movements, again with the colors and the design, and some of the parts choice are just top notch. and then you had the music playing from under the table, and it was just like it just set the mood, and it was like an attraction at Disneyland, you know, where you've got all the multi-sensory things working together to make it happen. Oh, there you are with some Lego Masters contestants.
Yeah, there's a bunch of pictures in there. I think I got a picture with all of you at Bricks Cascade, which is pretty cool.
Nice, good. And here you are taking in your display there at Lego House. Was we built this city the only thing you're displaying there, or are you displaying it among other things?
No, I decided to, because I'm kind of known for doing big creations, so I thought it would only be appropriate to display a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
fill the space they gave you.
Yeah. I knew the dimensions, kind of like Ryan had talked about last week, and I just kind of went for it. I wanted something the idea was to make something that people might see from across the gallery, and they're like, "What the heck is that? I gotta go check that out."
Awesome. Oh, cool. Let's see. Let's dive into cool stuff.
Cool stuff we found online.
Cool stuff we found online. We'll make this one a little bit shorter than usual because we're actually I think this is gonna be one of the most fun episodes of AFOL Spotlight Live, because I mean just the pictures you're able to contribute, Paul, are stunning. But before we get too far here, let's look at this. You've brought a couple people that you'd like people to check out. What do we got here?
Oh, I gotta look super close. Is this? This is Stefan Gophers. So I'd seen Stefan's work online. I believe he's from the Netherlands. In fact, both these builders are from the Netherlands, and they're both people that I met on my trip to Denmark. Stefan was displaying alongside Ryan and myself in Lego House, and he put in the Jack Skellington's house from The Nightmare Before Christmas. But he's just got like a really good sense of humor.
Look at this. It's like, hold on, I want to zoom in here. These like buildings.
Oh,
but they're completely.
No, sorry. This is not Stefan. This is. Oh my gosh. This is Jack Zapp.
Oh, okay.
So Jap Zapp. His name's Jap, and really, like I think he's in his 20s, but such an amazing builder. So what you've just seen, it's all Jap, and I love his style. The things he does with architecture, and he kind of takes you to this place, and it's kind of a surrealist kind of vibe, I guess, going on. The detail of his buildings, like they're kind of medieval, but at the same time they have this really great fantasy element that I appreciate, and the color usage, the textures are just out of this world. Because I got to see this model and a few of the buildings in person at Scareback, and they were just my favorite models of the entire show. Like personally, there was so much amazing stuff. I don't even think I really could pick a favorite. But that building there you just passed, it's half kind of medieval, but then it's got a sort of a square gray arch section to it.
This one.
Yeah, that one really impressed me because it is, in my opinion, it's very difficult to merge this kind of concrete brutalism, sort of square or rectangular, massing to the more ornamental, almost, Asian style pagoda type building there. So the fact that he did that and it looks like it belongs together is amazing to me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's really cool. And just pulling in that little bit of like purple and gold into the top of that arch there.
Yeah, just makes it pop. So really, really impressive builder. I can't wait to see what he builds in the future. And his profile is definitely well worth a perusal.
Okay, so that is Jap Zapp.
Yep.
And then the other is Stefan.
Yes.
So here we go. Oh, this is so cool.
Yeah, Stefan is, he's got a great great eye for color as well, and textures. Uh, Maybe a little more than Jap. He uses a sense of humor in some of his creations a little bit more, but so just different styles, and I just really appreciate them both. I mean, that steampunk city, I believe he built with, it was a collaboration. He built it with another builder, and I love this. You know, I could look at this all day. There's just so many great ideas and style in there. It's oozing with style.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Sheesh, that's rad. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Okay, so there we go. This is Stefan.
Stefan Gophers.
Stefan Gophers. Oh, this is cool. This is like the Thunderbird.
Oh yeah, Thunderbirds. Yeah. Yeah, he's just done all sorts of fun stuff, you know, and it's all really well done. And there's usually a, you know, funny title or a minifigure scenario that'll make you laugh.
Cool, awesome. Well, check those builders out. Gee whiz, look at this stuff. How cool. There's like The Incredibles there. This is wild. All right, everybody, go check out Stefan Gophers. We have from Martin Holth, $5 support in the live chat. Thank you very much, Martin. Says, I will gladly support this work. Paul is just incredible, and Boone's last two AFOL spotlights have been amazing to watch. Thank you. Thank you so much, Martin. We really appreciate that. And I think with that, Paul, do you mind if we move to Q&A? It's time for AFOL Q&A. Right, there we go. So let's see, everyone, go ahead and take a moment to put your questions and answers in the chat. And I'll just talk a little bit for a moment here. This live stream is brought to you by all of the wonderful people in our live chat who support us every week with some incredible super chats. It is also brought to you by BooneBuilds.com. BooneBuilds.com. We recently added the Boone and Mark minifigures for pre-sale in the minifigs tab on BooneBuilds.com, and we also have some Bearded Builders shirts there for sale, and all of that stuff just goes to help trying to keep maintaining this content, and I really appreciate everyone's support. It's been incredible, and I'll do the best I can to keep trying to highlight, illuminate incredible builders like Paul. Jeff McElwee with $10 in the super chats. Mr. Boone and Mr. Paul, when will you two team up to do a battle over steampunk Gotham?
That sounds epic.
How about we put it on the list? We'll put it on the list of collaborations that we might do one day. How does that sound, Jeff? Jeff,
I love the idea.
Thank you so much, Jeff. One of the great supporters here at Boone Builds. He has been a really awesome support here, and you know, definitely we're thankful for the incredible AFOLs like Paul that come on you know, week after week, and we're thankful to those who support us, and Jeff is certainly among one of our repeat supporters. Thanks for the $10, Jeff. All right.
Hi, Jeff. Let's
see. Potato Studio says, when did you add the Mark fig? I just added it earlier this week. It was it's just a pre-sale, so I'm still waiting for all the parts to come in. And that's, I think, clearly articulated there if you go and spend your $15. But let's see. Brandon Jones says, Paul, what has been your most challenging design?
Oh, great question. I'm gonna say Unchain My Heart, that steampunk robot that we looked at earlier. Just because it uses so many non-conventional, you know, Lego and Bionicle and Hero Factory parts. Many of them don't have stud connections, so you have to attach them either with like a bar connection or sometimes a Technic axle connection. And I mean, the biggest challenge, even more than connecting them, is to seamlessly, you know, make them look like they belong together. So that goes. That's why the robot ended up being dark gray, because the silver parts kind of blended into that, and but then you've got that pop of red that kind of, draws your eye in. So it's a lot of, most of my work is just trial and error. I'm persistent, and I just keep trying different combinations until I get what I'm seeing in my mind's eye.
That's awesome. Thank you, Paul. Let's see. Chantel says, Boone, have you ever been to Canada? I have. It's been a while, but I have been to Canada a couple times, and I certainly intend to go back. I'll be in Canada virtually this Saturday for Brick Can, but anyway. Let's see. Jeff says, nope. I don't quite understand that. Looking for someone asked if we had a favorite minifig. Do you have a favorite minifig, Paul?
Oh man, I don't know why, but I'm just gonna go with the first one that popped in my head, and that would be the Series 1 minifigure clown.
Okay. Series 1 clown. I like the clowns. I think I know. Is the Series 1 with the red hair?
Yeah.
Here, I'll pull it up here real quick. We'll pop over here and we'll go Lego Series 1 clown. There he is. Is that him?
Yeah, it's just I'm not a clown guy, but I don't know. That was just the first time that Lego did something kind of out of the box, and yeah, it's pretty fun.
Mine is Captain Redbeard. Why am I not finding it? Lego Captain Red. Oh no, not Red Bead. Red Beard. There he is, Captain Redbeard, from the original Black Seas Barracuda. And there's a revamped version of him from the new Pirates of Barracuda Bay set. He's my all-time favorite fig, but and I've described this before, I kind of make a distinction between like my all-time favorite figure and like my favorite collectible minifigure, which from the CMF series, it's definitely the who we call Brick Rogers, or the, I think, Series 17 Retro Spaceman minifig, I think is what his sort of official name is. But
yeah, that one's awesome.
Let's see. Do you have? This is from Rowan Conway. Boone and Paul, how many bricks do you have, and what's your favorite? Paul, do you have any idea how many bricks you have on hand?
Oh gosh, probably like 2 million. Because I've been collecting for 28 years. That's my excuse. I'm not just a hoarder, okay, people?
Yeah.
Yeah. And favorite part, anything gold.
Oh, I love gold. Gold is so good. I had an idea for that music challenge, and I didn't end up finishing it to submit. But it was gonna be like, at the end of the old Dr. Seuss How the Grinch Stole Christmas, when like kids are like riding around on these giant like sort of things that are like half bicycle, half like trumpet tuba contraptions. It was gonna be kind of like that, but with like extra people, like a little spot for a guy playing guitar and a spot for a guy playing keyboard, but they're all on bicycles, and it's just sort of this big like. And I was gonna use gold to make it seem like the brass.
Oh man, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, I didn't finish it. See you later with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much. See you later. Says Paul, have you always specialized in mock building? Incredible builds, by the way. Thank you for sharing. So you described that a little bit, right? You started out as a collector.
Yeah. It's been a kind of a slow process, really. I collected for 10 years. I did a few mock, building mocks back in the 1990s. You were kind of inspired by what you'd maybe seen at Legoland or on the back of the box art. Now with the internet, obviously, there's just so much inspiration out there. So yeah, it's slowly went from collector to artist, and it took me 28 years to do it.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. Matt Lego Man with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you so much, Matt. We really appreciate your support. Says Paul, your stuff is amazing. What are you working on now? Can we get a preview? Do you have anything you can hint at us?
Oh, I am working on a smaller kind of model. I had does everyone know Paul Frank and the Julius monkey character? You see him on T-shirts, and
Yeah.
McDonald's has done promotions with him. Actually, I have here. So I'm working on a tuk-tuk, which is like an little Indian three-wheel taxis. They're kind of half motorbike, half, I don't know, golf cart. But this is the head that I made for Julius.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm basically building a vehicle for him, and his buddy Clancy, who is the world's smallest giraffe, is going to be in the back.
Okay, hold on. Hold that back up. I'm just going to flip back and forth between the model and the picture so that people can see like how spot on it is. Look at it. There's Paul's Julius. There's Paul Frank's Julius. It's spot on. That's awesome. Thanks a lot, Paul.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, I'm excited. All the little parts that Lego's making now, like the little 1x2 curved slopes, those have enabled you to get these cool shapes in smaller sizes, than ever before. So it's like the best time ever to be building with Lego.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Cody Otley, another one of our repeat supporters here at Boone Builds. Thank you so much, Cody. We really appreciate it. And Cody gives us a little, what is that, a super stamp? What do they call those? Super sticker. And it says #1 fan. So there you go, Paul. Cody Otley is your #1 fan.
Cody is awesome. He was a Bricks Cascade. Hey, Cody. Hope you're doing well, buddy.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, let's see. Just Jeff says, "Do you guys play Lego Legacy?" Paul, do you play Legacy or any of the Lego games?
No, I haven't. When I was building the Joker's Funhouse, I watched people play like recorded sections of their video game on like YouTube.
Yeah.
To see what the Batman universe in the games would look like, but I've never played. No.
Yeah. I just like when video games went from like 8-bit or 16-bit to whatever came after that, like 64-bit. It was really like the Nintendo 64 shift that like lost me, and I couldn't go from like the 2D video gaming experience to like the 3D video gaming experience, and so I just never like I've just been totally lost on video games since like 1995 or something like that. But anyway, I mean they do some incredible work with the Lego video games. So I have a great appreciation for them, but if I'm spending my time like doing something for fun, it's going to be like in here either building or creating content or something like that. But I hope you all love your video games. I don't have any experience with any of the Lego. I get that question a lot because a lot of people love the Lego video games, and I just don't have any experience with them. But Moto, one of our moderators, not only is he tasking himself at keeping the live chat a safe and fun place for all of us to be, but he is also willing to give another $10 to say, this is to keep the season 1 finale going as long as possible. Thanks for a great series, and Paul, you melted my mind with your building.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks,
Paul,
Moto.
Paul, are you familiar with Moto's stuff?
I may have seen it. I'm afraid the name isn't bringing up images, but
It's okay. I just discovered Moto, and I think it was Richard and Flynn from Lego Masters that sort of turned me onto Moto stuff. Incredible. In fact, I'll say it right here, right now. Moto, in the live chat, Moto, will you be the guest for the first episode of season 2 of AFOL Spotlight Live? You can answer in the chat because we got to get you on here to talk about the incredible stuff you build.
Sounds awesome.
He builds these giant things. He merges Technic and system and unbelievable parts in just really beautiful ways. He's got some awesome stuff going on.
Man, I just we got to wrap this up so we can go check out Moto's profile, man.
Yeah. Rob Ketcherside, thank you so much with $4.99 says, cheers to season 1. Looking forward to seeing Paul's builds again at BrickCon. Thank you so much, Rob. For those of you who haven't been watching since the beginning, I said that that this episode would be the season finale for the finale for season 1 of AFOL Spotlight Live. It's been really awesome. I'm just going to take a handful of weeks to kind of regroup, plan like my next number of guests, and maybe restructure the show just a little bit. But we're having a lot of fun tonight. So, Paul, thank you so much for being my. We'll take a few more questions here. This is not the end, everyone. But Paul, I really appreciate you being here. It's been a lot of fun tonight. Holly gave $9.99. All right, Paul, we're getting up into the number of donations that it's time for me to promise you like an Uber Eats gift card or something like that, and then I'll probably never follow through on actually sending that to you. But
That's fine. I'm just happy people are having a good time checking this out, and it's an honor to be on your show. So this has been like a highlight for sure.
Oh, good. Well, Holly says gives her a donation, $9.99, and says just because. Thanks for the show. Thank you, Holly. Holly, also another wonderful supporter of Boone Builds, and I'm sure of Paul's work, and particularly all of us up here in the Pacific Northwest love Holly. Let's see,
Taco.
Joseph. What was that?
Taco.
Taco, yeah.
Hello.
Taco lug. Paul, what do you say? I've got 9:27. Can we do 3 more minutes of questions?
Yeah, absolutely. I got nowhere to go, and I stay up late, so we're good.
Okay, well, maybe we'll stay on a little bit longer. Joseph says, Boone Builds, Mr. Boone, do you have any Lego ideas projects, good sir? You're an amazingly talented builder. I have a Lego ideas project in the works, but it's not available yet, so I shouldn't have even said that. But yes, I'm working on it. Paul, have you ever submitted to the actual Lego ideas platform?
No. The Jukebox that I showed you guys earlier was my first official Lego ideas submission. But yeah, I'd like to give it some thought and try and come up with an idea. I find it's really a different way of thinking for me than doing my regular mock style, as opposed to thinking like what would make a good Lego set? Does it have play values? Got good parts? Is it interesting to people? Is it a good license or non-license? Yeah, it's a whole different way of thinking. So I'm still kind of wrapping my head around that.
Yeah, it's really it's the thinking that has trapped me from I've never submitted one, because it's like I think the idea has to be so good, because I've seen what Holly and what Jake Sadovich and what everyone else who has had a successful, who has reached that 10,000 votes mark, I've seen how long it takes, and I've seen what energy they have to put into it. And so I think it's got to be an idea that's so good that I'm willing to see that through. And so that has sort of, frozen my starting. But I want to.
It is. It's intimidating. I just from this experience with the Jukebox, that it's it was eye-opening and interesting, and I learned a few things from it, and really I feel like I am possibly a non-bearded pescador when it comes to Lego ideas. To tie in last week's episode, where you're kind of fishing, but you don't know which kind of fish hook to use. You're guessing.
Yeah, Paul, I couldn't believe it when your build was not one of the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, really, you can only. I know mine was popular, but you just don't know what's going on behind the scenes in relation to licenses and upcoming projects that Lego is doing in other lines, and so that was the interesting part for me, was to see which 10 were chosen, and you kind of get a little glimpse into maybe where Lego was trying to go with this project, and yeah, it's it's all good. I still have a fabulous mock that I get to share with everybody, and my friend Robin Thompson did a great picture, and yeah, we're just having fun.
That's awesome. This is another thing I don't know if I should say in front of the world or not, but I I want to have a conversation with you about how can I get a copy of that jukebox? And I don't know if that's a commission or I don't know if we could like work something out, but I love it and I've wanted a Lego jukebox for years. And I started like a Bricklink studio project, as a jukebox years ago, and it never was like exactly what I wanted it to be, and yours is just perfect. And I'm a big proponent of like when somebody else does it better than I can, I'm happy because then I can stop trying. But anyway, we'll have a conversation with that
Yeah, for sure.
after the show. Cody with another $10 says, where'd it go? Paul, you're an amazing inspiration to all. Great to see you at cons. Boone, great season 1. Thank you very much, Cody. Thank you. And CM Runnels with $9 says, Boone, I am 12 and a huge fan due to Lego Masters. I really enjoy your channel. My name is Davis. I hope your parent gave the $9 super chat because I don't believe 12-year-olds are allowed to do that. But thank you so much, Davis. We really appreciate your support, and thank you for watching and keep building on. Let's see. Brandon Jones with $10. Holy smokes! This is the time. This is the part of the live stream where I get to start paying people. Okay, Brandon Jones with $10. Thank you so much, Brandon. We appreciate you supporting. Says Boone Builds, AFOL Spotlight Live with Paul Hetherington has been very stimulating. Love you guys. Awesome. Thank you so much, Brandon. Really appreciate it.
Man, this is so cool. The people are speaking. They want season 2, man.
And here we go. Jake Sadovich, the Jake Sadovich, donates $50 and says, awesome work, Paul. Boone, I'm gonna miss this show till it's back. Thanks for all the support. Jake, dude, you're the man. And like I said, what was that?
Way to go, Jake.
Yeah. And Jake Sadovich will be back in season 2 of AFOL Spotlight Live because I promised him. I said, Jake, I want to start this live stream. I want you to be my first guest. I don't know how many people are going to be in the stream, and I think we had like 24 people watching in episode 1. And we've been hovering at between 110 and 120 for the last 20 minutes of this stream, so you can see where we've come since the end of January. And I just consider it such a huge honor that I could bookend season 1 with 2 of my biggest inspirations, Jake Sadovich and Paul Hetherington. So thank you both so much, and Jake, thank you for sending a little bit of that ship in a bottle money over this way to support Boone Builds. We really appreciate it. And then Will Nicholson with $20. Will, you're the man, says, who is the one AFOL that you'd break social distancing protocols to be with right now? Oh. What do you think, Paul? Who's the one AFOL you'd break social distancing besides Will Nicholson?
Who's... Hey, Will. Gosh, that is a good question. I don't have an answer. I do in my mind, but I'm not going to say it.
Okay. I have broken social distancing to meet Mark. We've been to Target. Like, Mark and I will meet so Mark and I used to live very close together. It would take me about 3 minutes to drive to Mark's house when we first met and first started building together. But he has since moved to a different part of town, and it takes about 30 minutes to get from my place to his place or from his place to my place. So lately we've been meeting at Target, a Target store that's in the middle, and it takes just about 15 minutes for each of us to get there. And we always come up with some great excuse about why we need to be at Target together during quarantine. So I shouldn't be saying this because I'm not setting a good example for anyone, but we always do go in and buy some groceries just so that we're, being at least making a responsible effort of our being in that place in public. So I guess I'll just say mine's Mark or Jake. But let's see. All right, Martin with another $20. Holy smokes, Martin! I'll gladly add more. You have both inspired me in the last 2 years to start embracing Lego again. I love it. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you very much, Martin. We appreciate it. And Dave Morgan, I don't know. This has got to be a good stream. Because it blows my mind that my moderators will sit in the chat and moderate the chat the whole time and then give me money to keep going. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. But thank you so much, David Morgan, with $11.11. That's some kind of magical number. And he says, thanks so much for a great season 1. Such a good stream. Dave, I can't thank you enough. And thank you to Moto, and thank you to Ben Kahn, and thank you to Perry Wang, and sometimes Matt Caldwell is in here. And if I have other moderators that I'm forgetting right now, please forgive me. But you've all made my life so much easier, and it's a good place for people to come and watch and engage. And I know we don't get to see all of the comments in the chat, but we really appreciate you being here, and we'll do our best. Moto said it's a reverse paid internship, Boone. Oh, yeah, and then Rob said, shouldn't the moderators get paid? Yeah, I think they will somehow soon. The whole thing, like, I haven't even been getting paid long enough with super chats to figure out when Google gives them to me, or to figure out how much do I actually get and when. And so I promise, if you are giving super chats to support the chat or to support the live stream, I will do my best to use that money responsibly and reward some of the people who have made it all possible. So thank you. Let's see. Pearson's 2015 says, hey, Boone and Paul, did you ever modify a Speed Champions car? That's an interesting question. Oh. Pearson's, are you a Speed Champions fan? I bet they are. Paul, yeah. Have you ever built a Speed Champions car?
I sure have. That's actually one of my favorite themes. I feel like some of the best building techniques that have been in recent sets have been in Speed Champions, especially the it came out this year. It's a little red, almost looks like a Ferrari. In fact, It might be a Ferrari, but that set, it just blew my mind for techniques. So I have, when I did the Buffalo Phil's build, I bought I wanted a red Porsche, even though the set was white, and I got all the red parts to make it red. So in that way, I've modified them. I'd like to do more.
Yeah. Is this the Ferrari you're talking about?
Yeah.
This one?
This set is ridiculous. This is like Lego from the future,
Yeah.
If this is where Lego's going, then I'm on board.
Yeah, I had a I think when they made the jump, they just like this year they made the jump from 6 wide to 8 wide, right, for the Speed Champions. Yeah. And this has got to be right. This is 8, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. 8. And it's even 8 plus because the wheels and the wheel wells, bump out a little bit on either side of that 8. I just picked up the Audi. I'll pull that one up here. So the Lego Speed Champions Audi. The Audi Quattro. I think it's such a rad car. So I just picked that up. In fact, I think Mark and I are going to be... Oh, you can't see that in the top corner there if Paul and I are in the way. I think Mark and I are going to be building the Quattro together in a live stream very soon. Because, like I said, the last time we were at Target, we both picked up one of those Audi Quattros. So, yeah, thank you. Who was that asked us about the... Was it Joseph? Whoever asked us about the Speed Champions, I'm glad we were able to answer. Paul definitely has, and I am about to build a Speed Champions. And since you asked about modifications, I'll see if I can come up with some cool modification for the Audi. All right.
Yeah, great question.
Okay, we're at 7:40. We'll go 5 more minutes. So let's see. Any other good questions here? Paul, you good to go 5 more minutes?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Let's see. Looking for the question marks. Did I get all of these super chats? I think I did. Yep. Joseph. Oh, Pearson's. Thanks, Boone. Thank you so much. No, it was. Maybe people are out of questions. Are you out of questions? Put a question in the chat. We've got 5 more minutes. Boone, are you doing Lego Masters again, or was first season your last? I imagine it'll be the kind of thing where they want to have different people on the new seasons. So if there's like if there's a All-Stars season, in 5 years or something like that, I would certainly consider going back, as long as Mark would go back with me. Paul, would you consider doing something like Lego Masters?
Oh gosh, maybe. Like the pressure. I don't know if I can handle the pressure, to be honest.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, I don't know. But I would say, I was going to say, like, I used to watch So You Think You Can Dance a lot, even though I really can't dance that great. But yeah, you could be the alumni and you could totally make an appearance in a few seasons, and that would be super cool.
There you go. Yes. All right. If I get invited back to Lego Masters for some, reason in the future, I will certainly be interested in trying. Yeah. So David Krause in the chat said, Paul, will you go on Lego Masters? So we just got an answer for that. Jason says, what is your favorite Lego franchise? And I think, Jason, do you mean like theme or franchise, like the movies? How would you interpret that question, Paul?
I'm kind of theme, but I have an answer. My favorite has been the Lego Batman movie. All the vehicles and the characters that they came up with for that. I would love to do a Lego Batman movie creation at some point, because it was just so much fun.
Yeah.
There's so much fun to be had with those characters, and the sets were really well thought out. They were interesting to build. They were probably some of the more complex sets of recent years. So I'm a big fan. I'm
a really big fan of the Batmobile. I've always been a big fan of the Batmobile, just in general. I'm a much bigger fan of the car than I am of the character. I love Batman. Batman's my favorite superhero, but I really love the car. And I sort of aspire to own all of the official Lego Batmobiles eventually. And I try to pick up the new ones when they come so that I don't get too far behind. But there's some gaps in my collection that I have to backfill, but I'll get there someday. But I thought both vehicles, both versions of the Batmobile, one came out before the release of the movie, and then the ultimate Batmobile, this is right there on my shelf, came out I think 6 months after it was like the second wave of Lego Batman movie stuff. And I think both are amazing.
Oh, I love them. I mean, you can't quite see it, but on some of my lower shelves is the 1989 UCS Batmobile. I went there on opening day at the Lego store and built that set and bought it, and got the little promotional 1989 set, which is also down there. And I got the tumbler right next to it. So I won't bother moving the camera to show it, but they're some of my favorite sets.
Yeah. I was able to review the 89 Batmobile, the big one, for Beyond the Brick. So that's how I got it, and I actually built it in California while we were taping Lego Masters. I was like, I had told John Hanlon, I was like, please don't send me anything. Like, I'm about to leave. I can't do it. And then he was like, well, there's one more coming your way. We know you're going to want to have it. And I was like, okay. And then it came to me, and it was the 89 Batmobile. I was like, oh, this is amazing. And it went immediately to like contending for my favorite set of all time.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's my favorite Batmobile. It's like my favorite car in the history of automobiles. Um, and I thought they did a wonderful job with the model.
It is such a fun build. There's so many great techniques. It's incredible. It's really one of the best sets.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, so the point of the story was when I got it from Lego for review on Beyond the Brick. So I wasn't able to get, I didn't have the small one.
Yeah.
Because you got it by buying the big one in the store.
Yeah, and you had to basically buy it on the first day, otherwise it was sold out.
Right. So Ryan Zagalo, who is here in Portland, and he builds big Batman stuff that he puts on display at Bricks Cascade. Have you met Ryan?
Yeah. Ryan's
Yeah.
cool.
And he had bought 2 of the big ones, so he got 2 of the small ones. And I was able to get him to part with one of the small ones fairly easily when I offered him I had the zebra Batman suit from San Diego Comic-Con. And it's worth quite a bit of money. But I don't collect minifigures, and Ryan is actively collecting every Lego Batman minifigure. Like, he will own them all, and I'll never be close because it's just not my pursuit. And so I was happy. I wanted him to have that, and I was like, just give me the little one. And he's like, no, I'll give you that, and I'll give you this, and I'll give you this, and I'll give you this, because the figure's worth a lot of money. But we made a wonderful trade, and we were both very happy. So that's how I ended up finagling both of those sets in sort of an unconventional way. But
yeah, that's really cool. That's the best thing, like trading with friends and getting cool stuff, and so you don't want, it's well done.
Yeah, cool. Jason says, "What's your favorite Lego piece? Do you have a favorite Lego piece, Paul?"
Oh gosh, Ryan McNaught, certified professional Lego Masters Australia. Whenever he gets asked that question, he always says the 2x4 brick, and I can relate to that. I probably some kind of a curved slope. I am always using curved slopes. So
yeah,
curved slopes make building Lego so much fun because I tend to try and come up with like a studless kind of look to most of my creations.
Right.
So all the curves.
Yeah. You do a great job at that. I feel like when I try to use curves, I just always end up having like curves that run into corners and stuff, and like I'm just okay with that because I just build with, like, a good example is this Batmobile was sort of inspired by like Super Friends, and it's built on the RC chassis that came out in like 1998. And I've got curves in there, but they'll just run into sharp edges, and it's sort of like a combination of sharp edges and curves, and I just don't care. Like, it's fine with me. But you do a really good job making it all look really smooth and clean. Another Jake Sadovich's the pedal car that he just put on Ideas is that way. It's like, how is this even Lego? But all right, man. I feel like let's see. How about one more? CM Runnels says, "What was your favorite thing to build on Lego Masters, Boone?" Oh, we'll ask it that way. We'll ask it this way. I'll answer as the person who was on the show. Paul, did you see it? Did you watch Lego Masters?
Funny story. I've seen 4 of them because I'm up here in Canada, and we're
It's hard to watch.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do another. I've answered that question so many times, but thank you very much, CM. I'll answer that question again. Let me go to one more question that both Paul and I can answer. This is good. Joe Dorsey says, Paul, when doing a mock, do you start with the motion or just fit it in as you go?
Oh, great question. Sometimes a bit of both. Like the Tiki Madness that I just built recently, I envision the motion that I want, which is kind of my starting point, but I build the model without the motion, and then I kind of retrofit it in. But that doesn't work for all the models. Like the Joker's Funhouse, a lot of that motion is in the floor, so I had to build that first before I built the model, even before I really fully understood what it was going to look like. So it does depend on the model.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, thank you very much, Paul. I appreciate that. My answer to that question is I often will sort of tackle the technical challenge of the motion and then sort of like build the model around that. But you know, again, it's sort of like on a case by case basis. Grayson Bates gives us a $10 super chat to support the live stream. Thank you so much, Grayson, and thank you all. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Paul Hetherington. I really appreciate you being here. Everybody, give Paul like some clapping hands emojis in that live chat. I really appreciate you, man. And I look forward. I hope it's not too long before I get to see you again.
Yeah, no, I've had the best time. Thanks so much for having me on here, Boone. And yeah, it's been a huge honor. And thank you to everyone who tuned in. You guys are amazing. And thanks for contributing to this awesome show.
Go check out Paul Hetherington Artist on Instagram. And tell us one more time, where is the other great place for people to find you?
Instagram and Facebook, Paul Hetherington Artist. I have a Flickr page, which is probably Paul Hetherington. And YouTube, I am Lego Brick Baron.
All right. Hey, thank you, Paul, for watching. Thank you all for being with us. And Paul, look at all those clapping hands in the live chat. They love you. They love you.
Well, that's you guys too. Thank you.
That's the end of season 1 of AFOL Spotlight Live, everyone. It has been such a blast. We really appreciate you all being here. And thanks again to Paul for joining us here for the season finale, season 1, AFOL Spotlight Live.
Let's go!